By the way, spoilers. Spoilers ahead.
My bottle cap has fallen.
My bottle cap.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Welcome
Cheers.
to another episode. 2 weeks has
wow.
passed.
Welcome.
We're back.
2 weeks has passed like a glimmer in the eye.
I hope you missed us. I hope you were thinking about us as you listen to the previous episode about Terminators
Hell yeah.
and such things.
Who's the best?
We're back now, not to talk about Terminators.
Yeah.
I'm
We're
hosting
talking about
today,
different types of Terminator.
Timo, as you know me, and as always, we got the two of the boys. We got Jake. How you doing, my man?
The brothers. Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
And his other brother, Philip.
Haha. Hey, good to be back.
Yeah,
Welcome
back. As always, the hosting nervousness is kicking in, but
That's okay. We can help you out
Yeah,
by
we can
going into
soothe
the
the
intro.
pain.
yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. You see,
Nice.
play this song, Johnny. Johnny. He's back to normal.
That's good.
Glad he got that one right.
Man, Johnny,
So
what a character. What
So
a guy.
Tim,
True.
welcome. You as the host will help, soothe the pain of being a hostman, and hopefully be
That's true.
Coman.
Coleman,
So your
yes.
hostmanship.
Hostman and Coleman. The hostman is two Coleman. So
So Tim, what films do we have today?
that's true. I
love
as
it.
the hostman, had made the two Coleman watch a couple of movies today. This couple. Can you say couple when it's two movies? Does that
Yeah,
because a
I
couple
think
is,
if you
definition
said
of a couple is
that's,
two.
yeah, but when he started going a couple of movies, it sounds like more than two.
You're
But
right.
if
what
you
I'm
said,
saying.
but if you said a couple, a movie as a I
Or a
don't know.
pair of
think-
movies.
A pair of movies. That's
true. But
our
was
English
it-
is fantastic.
Was it originally couple meant for two, but somehow, as all things languages, it kind of translated and a couple means
so.
a few? Okay. So I'm really freeze
Yeah.
that. We got two movies. First one, Martin Scorsese. Weirdest way to say that. We got
Marty.
Irishmen. We got Marty's Irishman. Came out in cinemas, a couple of specific, cinemas throughout this year, but it was produced by Netflix and it was
That's right.
released on Netflix. So us couch bums get to watch it. We don't even have to go to cinema
And you
to watch
guys,
this.
you couch bums, can also watch.
Yeah, and there's no restrictions. You don't have to go outside, put the coat on in the freezing weather or in the summer weather if you're Tim from New Zealand, and go to a cinema and pay like
You just-
$10.
The cinema of your home.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there you go. That's what Netflix is all about.
So it's great. So we save money, you save money. It's
Perfect.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anyway, I heard you like painting walls. Or I heard
Exactly.
you paint walls.
Houses.
Houses. That's what it was.
I heard you paint houses. That's the title of the book. that
I
it's
heard
based
you
on.
paint-
Maybe we can
houses.
start there. That's based on a book.
It is based on a
which
book.
I found out when I was like fourth of the movie, and I was thinking, you know what? I recently watched a show on Netflix
Okay.
as well called The Spy.
The Spy.
Recommended by Luke Coons, who was on an older podcast, which maybe he should be on at some point. Anyway, The Spy is a Netflix original show starring Sacha Baron Cohen. Is that his name?
Yeah, Sacha Baron
Yes.
Cohen.
Actually, a really good show, by the way.
LG.
I would recommend it.
The Spy, huh?
The Spy.
Is it a comedy?
Okay.
No. It's a serious drama.
With Sacha Baron Cohen?
Yes,
Wow.
6 episodes.
He
about
did
Israeli
drama.
spy who was a spy
Okay.
in Syria for a couple of years.
That's pretty cool.
Very well done. Very interesting topic. Similar darker themes of murder and criminal activities. And why did I bring this up?
Why?
That's a great question. You guys talk.
Because it's
I'll
based on a
remember.
true story.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Phil. Yeah, this is based on a true story. So while I was watching that, I was like, Luke was like, it's based on a true story. Cool. And then I went to Wikipedia and read a little bit.
Yeah, that's you do.
So the same thing with this. I was like, cool, another true story. Go to Wikipedia, read a little bit.
Yeah, what I do is I actually read Wikipedia articles while watching the movie.
That's what I
What?
did this time, yeah.
Like a
That's not
filthy
good.
pig.
Yeah, that's filthy. You must concentrate.
I
Do not-
concentrated. It's a
do-
long film.
It's a long film. There's a lot of
very
downtime.
long film.
I
This is a very
concentrated
long
through the
film.
whole film, but just here and there, I'll check a little few
true.
things. Come on.
Hey, look,
What happened?
I'll admit, I did have a little break. I did have a little break halfway through the movie, and I think
Uh-huh.
the little break will help because I was kind of having trouble following the movie for the first
Aha.
half.
That's interesting. I didn't
Uh-huh.
have trouble.
You didn't?
No.
Wow.
I
I
was-
guess
I think there were a lot of
Rude.
names Well, here's so I'll give a brief description. Irishman.
Yes, please.
Martin
Irishman.
Scorsese. It's based on a book. Robert De Niro read the book in 2004. He tried to get the movie made with Marty. 15 years later, they got Joe Pesci back. He was retired for 10 years. Joe Pesci. You got Al Pacino and Robert De Niro working again together since, I don't know, probably Heat, which one of the best movies ever made.
It's pretty good. I'd love to watch it again.
All three of them, the kings of gangster. And you
The
got
big
even
boys.
Harvey. What's his face? Harvey
Two-Face.
Not Harvey Two-Face. He was in Taxi Driver. What's the guy's actor's name? I'll look it up. And he used to be in Martin Scorsese's movies. All the gangster kings in one big movie, and it's based on this dude played by Robert De Niro. And it's basically his life. He's a murderer.
Yeah.
A murderer, not a murderer. He's a hitman for mafia, and you get to see from his retrospective of his
How he
life.
got in.
How he got in.
How he got
it
in,
influenced
how
him.
he operated, and what he did, and how it affected his life at the end.
Yep. So that's the thing. So what I was saying that I had trouble following, and one of the reasons I had trouble following is my first question to you guys. What did you guys think of the de-aging CGI? Because one thing that confused me was, at first it was okay. I was a little bit disturbed at first, a little uncanny valley.
A little disturbed. Wow.
But then I got
Cuts
I
deep.
got used to it. But the only problem was, you can de-age a face, but you can't de-age a body. So I was really confused how old they are, because they looked 50 the entire time to me. Like, I wasn't sure if it was being young or is he being old. So that was that. So for the first half, I was confused when it was happening. What did you guys think of it?
All right. Well, for me, I think that one of the big problems is that Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, those people Al Pacino, are people that you've seen throughout the years. And so you kind of know how they looked like at various stages of their life. So it's a lot harder to de-age them and make them feel like, because when I was watching it, I was looking at De Niro when he was like the truck driver, right? Mm-hmm. It didn't look like young De Niro. So I guess you could say it's the young character, not De Niro.
Mm-hmm. Because Joe Pesci's character goes, "Hey, what you working on the truck there, kid?" And he calls him a kid, and I'm like, he looks 50 to me.
I know. And
He just has a smooth face.
look, it's
for
just so
50.
weird. Honestly, the de-aging was a little bit. I mean, it wasn't. What's a good what's a new de-aging thing that was really convincing? I guess
there was a recent one. I think
Marvel's pretty good at that.
Films.
yeah, Ant-Man with Michael Douglas. He looked great.
I would say in Captain Marvel, Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel
I
Jackson.
haven't seen that. So my thought about the
Wait, you haven't seen the movie?
We had this conversation once before.
Did we? Many times.
Yes,
You
we
still
didn't
haven't
see the
seen
film.
Captain
No.
Marvel?
No. After the whole ending phase stuff, I kind of haven't.
Yeah,
seen
we're
much.
But that was before.
I know, but we didn't see. We just did. It just didn't occur.
Just didn't see, and now we didn't see.
I would recommend it. It's not that bad. It's pretty fun.
All right.
And,
check it out.
Samuel Jackson, he moves like a young man a lot of the times.
Oh, good.
And I think they had a stunt double for action shots, so he's not old and wrinkly, like,
Yeah, which is what the problem might be with the Irishman.
Could be. So here's
Could
my
be.
thought. My thought was that I realized in watching these sequences that this is the new norm in sort of filmmaking when they have
Yeah,
kind of flashbacks.
they're not going to cast it.
They're not
another
going to
actor.
cast someone else, and they're going to go with this aging process, which I'm not like totally against, but at the same time, it's strange seeing it in a film like this from Martin Scorsese. Where, by the way, since we're on this topic, I'll totally forget if I don't mention it. There's like two shots I think in this movie that are horrendous.
Okay,
awful.
give me.
And it was so weird to see in the movie. It's the superimposed TV screen.
Superimposed
remember.
TV screen.
There's a shot
What's the
when-
context?
The context, I think, is
This movie's long. We can't
is
remember.
Joe Hoffa, is that his name?
Joe Hoffa.
Yeah, Al
Al
Pacino,
Pacino's
yeah.
character. I think he's making a speech somewhere on television, and there's a shot of the TV, and it looked so clean and digital.
Oh, right,
It looked
right,
nothing
right,
like from that era. And then
Because
the
this
next,
takes place in the 70s, right?
Well,
And
it
the
takes
next
starts
shot-
from 50s all the way to 80s, and I think
80s, because they mentioned the Bosnian Serbian.
No. It
Croatian.
was
later.
was-
That's like in
Oh,
the
my
future.
bad.
like
I'll cut that out.
one perspective, like the oldest you get when he's in the retirement home, he's watching TV and they're mentioning the 99 NATO Serbia bombing, which was in 1999. So I would assume
Tim,
that's the latest time we
We
have.
have
So we
spoken
have,
of earlier, even stories. from
that's true.
this
That's true.
time.
So the earliest
Well,
we
listen-
see is him in World War II. He's supposed to be super young, and then the latest we got him in 1999.
And I wanted to say that the next shot after that superimposed TV is another superimposed TV with the Sony Vegas line effect.
Oh,
on
yeah.
it.
Oh,
So I just want to
boy.
say, I wanted to mention that this is really strange because you never see that in like Martin Scorsese films.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was just so digital and strange. Nothing to do with the quality of the film. It's just really weird to see that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say that kind of ties into the whole de-aging thing where it's like you kind of wonder like, like, is this really the best thing to do when you could get such a maybe more realistic, dramatic effect if you had maybe had some different actors or something, you know?
So I mean, it's not bad. I think essentially, you kind of go through the storyline not noticing it, but there's definitely ways they can improve it, especially what we were talking about with Phil with like using maybe stunt doubles for like action scenes. There's like a scene where he's like, which was actually a pretty visceral scene by itself, but kind of looking at it, it looked a little bit wonky when he beats up the clerk at the store because he touches his daughter. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember that,
yeah,
where
yeah,
he,
yeah,
where he
yeah.
crushes the guy's hand.
Well, one hand, it was really, like a lot of it. I think we talked about this in The Joker as well. That a lot of the violence is not dramatized, not movie like. It's not tropey. It's actually pretty just down to earth, realistic in a way. And that shot, him beating that guy up, was just because it was like on a wide shot, right, just on the street.
Yeah.
And it reminded me, like when I was a kid, long ass time ago, I was riding with my sister on a bike. I was on the back of the bike. We were coming from somebody, and it was evening, kind of like, sunset, and it was like a little bit darker. And there was these two dudes in front of like a pub. These two huge fat dudes just beating. I was maybe like 4 or 5, just beating the shit out of each other. And one, like, he was on the ground, and this guy was just like stomping him in the belly. I just remember like, that was the first time I saw somebody actually fight in real life as a kid. That thing like scarred me for life. Just like that sound of that guy, just like what the guy was making on the ground, and just like that flat, like, because you see people fighting in movies, and and this was just like, just like
Slab of meat.
and it was just so bad. I just remember like, and I didn't think about this for a long time until I saw that shot. It was like, it reminded me of that, like just like seeing violence on the street, just like not movie violence, but
It's
actual
crazy.
violence.
I never was in the vicinity of a fight like this.
You never saw anything like that?
The funny thing is that all I'm imagining is two Dennis Nedrys punching each other on the floor
Dennis
somewhere.
Have you ever seen a fight, Phil? I haven't really. Maybe a little bit. but-
like a really brief, maybe someone punches someone else, but I don't remember.
maybe.
There's
Like
nothing
in,
that
in school, or like just like randomly?
No,
on
no,
the-
no,
on
like
the street?
randomly, like randomly, like somewhere maybe someone punches someone like really hard, but I don't.
or like,
remember.
arguments, like verbal arguments. But that's
Yeah,
not
just
the
like
same.
shouting. I mean, there's hobos fighting each other. I definitely been in
Okay,
bars.
what's this? Is that a spectator sport?
No. It's like, but like you definitely see like just like people be like I walk from work. Where I used to live. There used to be this abandoned parking place that just like hobos took over. Like they even have barricades, and there's always cops coming in. But I think they destroyed that, and now they're gone. But there's always a fight there, like shouting and just throwing
Always.
things at each other, like drama. So I've seen that, but it was never. You've never seen somebody get to hurt someone. Like, yeah, I've seen definitely, like, I was lived in Belfast, and their fight broke out in pubs, but there's just so many people and music and everything. Like, you never get that.
You
just,
can't
like,
hear it,
That's
yeah.
it, like, it's just commotion's happening. A guy comes out, like, bloody, but that's it,
I think
So you never
the
seen a
worst thing
fight,
I've-
right?
Yeah, not a fight. The worst thing I've seen is different topic, but similar thing was a long time ago when I was a kid. We were at a crossroads driving, and I think I saw like the full event of a kind of a car crash.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Remember that, Phil? It wasn't
Yeah.
a car crash, nothing serious, no one got injured, but more of a fender bender, but
Yeah.
a little more serious fender bender where I think,
Yeah, it was like.
yeah, where this car just hit the side of the car and a kind of huge dent in the front.
Yeah, big poof happened.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
really crazy because I never seen something like that in real life where you see the whole action play out.
Yeah.
To me, it was a very surreal experience because it felt like you were seeing a scene from a film
Yeah, or you were
Or a
looking at like
video
a
game.
stunt. Oh, okay.
or a stunt. That's
That's what
interesting.
I
I
was.
didn't think of that
yeah,
at all.
I think I've seen something recently. I just can't
And your
remember.
brain was confused, like, because you thought, like, oh, this is safe, this is okay, but your brain was also switching to, like, no, this is something that happened, and
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
lost control. It's a very weird feeling, and that's the kind of the worst thing I've
Were you
seen.
ever in a fight in school?
No.
Oh yeah.
You were?
Yeah,
really,
but it,
Phil?
was, but it wasn't like a bad fight.
This is interesting.
Oh, what kind of
Yeah,
fight was
some
it?
kid-
Like, yeah.
Some kid got mad at me, and when we were having soccer practice back in Austria.
Okay.
Yeah.
What age are
and-
you? Like, so
Oh, I
viewers
was
know.
like 8 or 9.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we kind of got angry at each other and started kicking and punching each other really angry.
Phil,
Oh.
we got in a fight.
You
One
guys
time?
always like, well, you kind of like punched each other. Like Phil would
Listen.
usually punch Jacob, like
I gave
repeatedly.
Phil a scar that's still on his face today.
Yeah, yes, it's true. It's still there.
There you go.
Jacob-
That
You
was
were fighting-
rage.
Yeah, that was pure rage because
happened?
a coin from a Mickey Mouse magazine. He shoved into like into a fence, which
was
had
this valuable? This coin, or what was?
I mean, it was
plastic.
valuable to me because it was from the Mickey Mouse magazine, and it's
Because Phil
supposed
loved
to.
the Mickey Mouse magazine.
Yeah, and the prize and this coin was supposed to be like a coin from Duckburg, the fictional town of Duckburg. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg.
And for some reason, I don't know why.
And I got
messing
mad
with
at that,
Phil. I
yeah.
was messing with Phil. And I took the coin and I shoved it in the
Yeah.
sort of like the
Like there was a hole
wood.
between the wooden fence,
And then you were like
like a crack in the wood.
"Oh, that's my coin."
Yeah.
And then we just
And then Jacob just
brawl.
attacked me like Gollum in
Were you like,
you know,
just-
the end of
And I
Return
was
of the King.
scratching his face.
And he was scratching my face,
Yeah.
Oh.
and then
And
yeah,
I scratched him under his eye, and he started bleeding. And I guess I scratched so deep that it's still
it's
there.
still there.
my
You can actually
goodness.
see it.
Yeah. So
Wait, you went
then
full
do it.
Gollum on him.
I don't know.
That's
Dave just had
crazy.
fed up of me. Just
like-
fed up
just
of
It's
Yeah.
weird
me.
because I did the
Yeah,
deed
yeah.
and I attacked.
Yeah,
you.
I think you were just like you wanted to get a reason. You were just like looking for
I
an
have
excuse
that-
just to go
remember, I-
Gollum on him.
I have that album. Remember the Anderson? Remember
Oh
that?
yeah. The title. We should put that picture in.
We should post that picture. It's a picture of me as a little kid looking like a thug.
And I put
Speaking
an
of thugs-
Uzi in your hands.
Yeah.
Speaking of
So that's
thugs,
interesting, yeah.
the Irishman is happening here.
Yeah,
You're talking about the visceralism of the violence.
Yeah,
you said
yeah,
it was
yeah.
fake.
The other thing is like that was felt, but on the other hand, he's supposed to look like, I don't know, 30s, right? And he's beating up this guy, but it's clearly a 70-year-old man with a face of a young. It was just like it felt
Yeah,
so
that's
awkward. Like
that is a
couldn't-
problem. Yeah.
like he couldn't like so that we were saying like that could be something that's fixed.
Yeah.
The other thing that was weird to me that kind of didn't help was that they gave him blue contact lenses.
Could you
Yes,
someone
that was
explain
so
that?
distracting.
Why?
Because I
Maybe,
guess
like,
the
the real
character is
person?
supposed to be
Yeah.
like an Irishman.
Because when I was watching the shots with the young Robert De Niro, I was thinking like, does he have blue eyes? I don't remember.
The blue
I was
eyes weren't
confused.
that bad though. Like they
There's a
looked like they were
shot-
real eyes. They didn't look like contacts, like Legolas and
Yeah,
Lord of the
yeah. No,
Rings.
definitely
Maybe
they
they
look like
superimposed. But no.
I think they
I'm
fixed
sorry.
them.
He had
I think they maybe
blue
fixed
eyes
them.
In
Like-
also when he was throughout the whole film, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
There's a shot where he's indoors and he's got like it's a little low light and his eyes are purple for some reason. I was like a weird, like there's what you were saying, Phil. There's like bits of this movie that feel so real, like film. We're watching a movie and then
Yeah,
all of a sudden
yeah.
something just pops up. Like even the we were talking about 999 old Robert De Niro giving his testimony of his life, talking about his life. There's a weird digital grading on it that I just couldn't understand. Like the whites
Yeah.
are so overblown and everything's brown. It's like it doesn't match the like. What did they film this like later on like a digital camera?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I would these are the critic, but
don't know.
but besides some technical stuff. So how
Yeah,
did
what
you
did you
guys
think of the
see?
movie?
How did you guys see Robert De Niro's character journey? What did you think of it? What was your after you finished? What was your thought of this guy,
Who wants to go first?
Jacob? Let's
Who's on
let's
first?
ask
You
I'll
on
go
first?
first.
You want
so,
first?
what
Go
was
on.
the most interesting aspect of the story is that these characters are intriguing because
Jacob is a fan of crime.
yes.
Oh, then we,
all
yeah, I
organized
forgot.
crime.
He loves it. He watched the movie
No.
twice just to get the
Crime time.
That's
in his
not
blood.
true. So Robert De Niro's
7
character, can you
hours.
please remember what his name is? Frank something?
Sinatra.
Just Frank.
Frank Sheeran. Frank Sheeran. The father
Just-
of Ed Sheeran, obviously.
You got Frank. You
They're
got
Irish.
You got Fritz. Was his name
So-
Fritz?
Fitz. But
Fitz.
that's,
Fitz was Pesci.
He wasn't. No. Oh, really?
No,
Was
who's-
he?
wait,
No,
wait, let-
Fitz was the guy for the campaign.
I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna give you. The
Pesci
names.
was Russell.
Russell. Yes.
Yeah, Russell. We have Frank.
Now this was a problem for me. First half an hour, I couldn't remember anyone's name. So when they referenced
Oh man,
someone,
don't even ask me. I don't
That's
remember
weird. How
anybody's
come?
name.
I remember.
I don't know. I guess
I mean,
it was,
not now, but while I was watching.
yeah.
Partial
Like,
credit. Partial credit.
so we got
Okay.
Robert De Niro, Frank Sheeran, Ed Sheeran's father. We got Al Pacino, Jimmy Hoffa, and we got Joe Pesci, Russell Buffalino. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
before we begin, I have a question for you guys because I was very confused at
Make
one
some
thing,
great mozzarella.
which was
Harvey
when the
Keitel.
world,
That's the guy I was talking about.
who
yes.
was his previous wife. I don't
That
remember
was
at all.
so bizarre. It's like
That
at one
was so
point
confusing.
a man has to divorce his wife, and then he gets divorced.
But who
But
was the
no
wife? I didn't even
impact-
remember her.
No impact on the story whatsoever. She looks exactly the same, acts exactly the same.
I was
No
lost
point.
with the wife thing. I was like,
Yeah, me
I
too.
didn't remember this divorced
Just-
wife.
just
and then
like
he has
ignore
the
it.
daughter.
Yeah, just
And then
why
he has
can't
more
he just?
daughters.
And then Anna Paquin shows up.
Yeah. Oh man, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Which for anyone, she played
Rogue.
Roger
Roger.
in the X-Men series,
Roger.
the old X-Men series, which was interesting to see her again. I haven't seen her in a long time
Yeah,
in
right.
movies.
She plays Peggy Shireen.
I think
I don't even
Ed
think she
Sheeran's-
says one line of dialogue.
No, Frank Sheeran.
She says one line of dialogue. She says one.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, exactly. Why?
See, I know. And that was confusing, the thing, and that's what. Thank you guys. So you guys were also confused with the divorceness.
Yes.
that was
Yes,
interesting.
that
yeah.
was bizarre.
I'm sorry, man.
But what I wanted to say was interesting about this character is that there have been other characters like this, I think, in films, and the fact that this is based on a real life person. This type of person is someone you wouldn't really expect to be involved in crime.
Yes, that was one of the interesting things. That's what I kind of liked when I was watching.
Because
the
he
movie.
has this sort of double life, dual layer thing where he's a very calm,
He's a
nice
salt
guy.
of the earth guy. He's a rough and tumble.
Yeah, salt of the earth guy, nice guy. And he really seems like a good person, but at the same time, he's totally, super deep in this world. And he has this strange kind of philosophy that he mentions earlier in the film of just like taking orders, kind of being it's easy, it's simple when you just set this up in your mind, how this works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that people in this world like him a lot. And I think there's a couple reasons why they might like him. I mean, what do you guys think? I guess maybe one of the reasons they like him is because he's sort of, the old trustworthy, dependable guy. They can get to do the jobs. He's like a good friend. He'll be like loyal to you if you're loyal to him type deal. But so I found that whole dynamic interesting because usually in a lot of these crime situations, usually it's the, survival of the fittest. If you're the most assertive, the most insane, the most, I'm going to kill you if you do this. But he's like, and he gets
treating the business
think
like
the
a
nice
regular
guy
business.
in the crime world.
Yeah.
We just
I think it's
exploded
safe
all
to
together at the
say,
same
yeah,
time
we did.
talking.
We did. It was explosion. We must take a moment to breathe in. I think it's safe to say Frank is the most passive protagonist I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't think he does one single decision. Nothing he does is what he wants.
He decides not to decide.
He's just like, oh, just tell me what to do. I'll do it. And I think that's what, like, when he meets Joe Pesci in the bar and he tells him about the story about shooting those German soldiers, he's like, they tell me what to do and I know what to do. And I think, like, because you have two of his, like, I guess, friends, right? Joe Pesci, who's on the side of the mafia, and then you have Hoffa, who's like the leader of that union, right? Who, he does deals with the mafia, but he still has a little bit of integrity, and you have like his daughter Peggy, who kind of would show him the compass. She hates Joe Pesci because he's in the mafia and he's slimy and she doesn't like him. But she
did his
does
daughter
like
know
Peggy 18
about all his mafia biz. She had to, right?
he doesn't talk about it, but like it was. I think she was smart and she put two together because like he would listen to the news. Like he would go out in the night, right? And then somebody gets killed, and he would be in the morning reading the paper and just or just like watching the television. They're talking about the murder, and she just walks in, just looks at him, and she's like, she gets it, because
Yeah,
in the beginning,
he doesn't
remember,
even react to that.
he went and beat up that guy, so she knew from the beginning, like she was scared of him, But anyway, so you have Joe Pesci's like, what's this guy's name? Buffalini. Buffalo Wing.
Russell.
Yeah. Russell, I think he kind of uses him, maybe, I would say. He's like, this is a guy who will do whatever I say. Well, I think maybe Hoffa did see a friend.
Friend, yeah.
I think he,
So here's
yeah.
my question to you guys as well, is that I'm very curious to understand Frank as a character, as a person. is what is, the biggest question I always have with a lot of these sort of criminal oriented people is what is the attraction? Like, what is the attraction of getting into this world? What is the attraction of leading this shady? Because to me, honestly, at the end of the day, all these deals and stuff, they're so complicated and they're so like unnecessarily complicated. And it's all about loyalty. You do this to me, I do this to you. It's honestly politics in like the worst sense, because it's like every move you make can be interpreted as that's a thing that you're making a jab at this guy, making a jab at that guy.
It's like politics, but it's like
the favors and the money and the rules. Yeah,
you have to know the rules. Like you say, like you can't kill this guy.
Yeah,
unless this guy gives you the heads up, but otherwise you get killed.
So tiring, because like pretty much no one is direct. Everyone is speaking in code. Like if you heard it, like everyone's like we'll take care of it.
Yeah,
it's like that's code for kill this guy, or we'll do this. That's code for. Remember towards the end of the movie, it's like that's the way it is. Remember, like
that's the way it is.
That's like the code of like you've reached the limit. You can't go any further.
It is what it is.
Kill you.
Yeah. It was. But I think that's like.
What do you guys think? What's the attraction to like getting into that? Is you think it's people who end up just in the circumstance and they see an opportunity and it grows into like a bad habit? That
As Frank's, I think in the case of Frank, Robert De Niro, he just wound up in it and he's like, all right, I'll do it.
He's like,
he just keeps walking that path, and that's it.
Did you guys watch Goodfellas?
Just eventually you get entangled in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's one way.
You do one thing for someone, they want you to do more things. You get paid for it. You get benefits from that, and you just keep going. It's like, why not? Okay, why not? Okay, why not? And it just keeps going.
At the beginning, it's like sort of like you're using the money to cover the debts and stuff, and then that turns into more and more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But so my question was, did you guys see Goodfellas?
A funny story. I did. Okay, so I went to the library in Anderson, Indiana. Okay, this was a while ago. When I was living in Anderson, Indiana, I rented a lot of movies, right? So I rented them. You can for free for a week, and they're DVDs. And this one was one of those old DVDs that have a flipped, like they have two covers. You know what I mean, like two sides. One side was part one of the film. One side was part two. I started watching part one because I heard,
Scorsese. This is a long time ago. The film.
This is. I feel this is going.
This is like the Pulp Fiction viewing.
This is like the Pulp Fiction viewing. I was 15 years old. I was watching the movie and I was barely getting to the end of it. And the middle part of that movie, when this one ended, was where Joe Pesci was like, "Well, you think I'm funny or something?" Remember that? Like the whole thing.
That's like the most famous scene.
And I hated it so much that I didn't want. I was like, okay, the first part is done. I'm not watching the second part. I couldn't do it. Honestly, like, to be fair to myself, I felt like the movie was way too mean. But I mean, I should probably watch the entire thing.
You should maybe give it a chance.
Because everybody was so mean, I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I don't want to watch these people anymore.
But Jake, who loves crime, he would have loved it.
I probably would find it.
So here's the thing. So Leota's character so you got like, I think he has three. You have Casino, you have Goodfellas, and now you have the Irishman, which is.
In fact, I thought that you
know. Yeah, remind me who.
I was gonna say, like, I told
Robert De Niro and Pesci again.
Yeah, Jake, I told you that either Tim was gonna bring Casino or Goodfellas for the next movie.
Yeah, Goodfellas. I know you said that might be it,
and I said Casino as well.
Interesting. So there's many crime movies we can still see.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. There's so much crime. So in Goodfellas, you have the same kind of story, and the message kind of way is very similar. You follow a life of someone who gets into this crime world, and then you see it slowly kind of deteriorate as it goes on. Like with Goodfellas, what you were asking about, like what's the motivation, what's the in? He really liked wise guys, right? He liked how they acted. He liked how they have money. He liked how they can do anything they want. He's just like, because he was a little kid. And they made an impression on him, like these guys know what they're doing, and they're like cool, and that's the way he gets. Like you get a lot of glamour shots of him partying, of him doing, feeling great. Well, even the story is the same with Irishmen. Like there's never any glamour, there's never any parties, there's never any drugs. Like he's not into drinking.
There's never any like humor either. There's nothing to.
Yeah, I think because he is what you said. He's the working man. I think it's just like. That, like what we talked about previously, as like racketeering and mafia, like back in the day, that was part of the infrastructure,
What is racketeering, by the way?
I was like when you have to pay racket when you own a business to the mafia who owns that.
You were
part.
mentioning that, right?
Yeah. And that was like, that's still part of big cities, but that was like, that's how it worked especially after the Great Depression, where all these, mobs took over because of the illegal alcohol and took took control of all these cities, like
Prohibition.
Yeah. After all, it took a long while to get rid of this because the cities work like that, and if you're like a union man or you work in like a blue collar kind of job, sooner or later you're gonna wind up. And I think he's just so passive. He just doesn't. It's like, okay, yeah, he just wants to follow orders.
Because it's very interesting because he totally makes peace with this paradox since the beginning.
Yeah.
And only towards the end of the film, like the very, very end, is when he even begins to like sort of look back and think, And
but
even
it's the
then,
weird thing.
He's not really like remorseful in the sense of really hitting that point where it's like everything comes crashing down.
No.
It's almost like he's just scratching the surface of like,
Yes.
yeah, maybe.
But what I like about that
Maybe
is that
I was
it's very-
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But what I like about it is that that's kind of like how real life is to many people. That's just how people react. There's people
Yeah.
like that who do that.
Yeah,
and,
this is a real
and I
guy.
like seeing something like that because it's not hamming it up for drama.
Right, and I think that's why it's based on
Yeah.
a real story.
But I think there's a clear message, like that even people like that are dangerous. You don't have to be a crazy mastermind.
Yeah.
Or someone behind the scenes that, he murdered a lot of people and he murdered his best friend just because he would not let, like basic emotions, he wouldn't think about them.
I
He
mean,
would just
honestly,
suppress
with
them.
you guys watching the film, I really didn't think he was going to kill Jim Hoffa. I didn't read in the
Really?
Wikipedia that that's what kind of the book culminates with or discusses. No, I really wasn't. Similar to, remember in the In Bruges, total reverse, right?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that.
In this, I was really thinking like, dude, like there's no, because I was trying to understand the motivations of him. Like he has friends, and so he would consider Hoffa a friend. And I thought, okay, well,
And he
clearly
did.
the
Like he
friendship
invited him
trumps-
to his, to the highest honor to get the little, whatever,
Right.
the watch.
But in the end, the rules, unwritten rules, trump everything for him. And I found it very strange that he would think that and go through with this, because then you ask yourself sort of again, what is
By the way,
really
spoilers.
the motivation? Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
at the
Yeah,
beginning-
come on.
Spoilers ahead.
So the thing is, I wanted to say is that what is it really that's driving him to honor those unwritten rules?
I think it's just that weird and I think that's part of the message is like people like that are dangerous because they're following it to a point, like he's super loyal to that guy because he made him, he was there at the start, Buffalini, and he's the guy at the beginning, and it's just as simple as black and white 1 and 0. He's like, he was there at the start, and yes, this is my best friend, but he was there later. I can't abandon this guy, and this is my life, and this is just how it is. He's not going to think about it like, what does that mean? What does that mean to me? Am I doing the right thing? He's not going to question it. It's that way of thinking that's super dangerous, as opposed to like maybe someone like from our generation who's not so willing to follow just someone's orders just because that's the way it is. You're going to question, and you're going to like, how does that impact me, my emotions, or my view of the world?
Yeah.
And not just like, why? Because of, I guess, there were hard times, and if you want to have good money and if you want to survive, you do like join something like that. But it's crazy. What did you think of the movie, Phil? Like
All
in
right.
general?
Are we doing the in general kind of consensus? now?
Yeah, sure.
I want to know.
All right.
What's your
Well,
thought?
all right, guys. So we're having this discussion. I agree with you guys. I was adding my couple cents into the conversation. But that being said,
Yes.
this was the most difficult movie.
No way.
I was in agony. It was
Was it the
I was
subject or was just like?
I was so bored. I couldn't believe how much I just couldn't. I was like, when is this ending? However, here's my defense on this. I acknowledge it. Great movie. I really liked what they were doing with it. It's a good movie. But personally, my preferences, this is the least kind of, I don't care about crime. I don't care about mafia. I don't care about any of this. So for me, it was just so hard because I'm so uninterested in the topic.
Gotcha.
And I felt bad the rest of the day.
Oh, interesting. You felt bad.
So it was a double whammy.
Yeah.
So for me, it was slow, it was tedious to watch, and I acknowledge that it's just my personal
I think
preference.
it's fair enough.
Do you think,
Thank
Philip? It's fair enough. Do you think if in this
Oh, it had action
project-
scenes and explosions? Are you going to say that?
No. If this movie didn't have Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Al Pacino, and it wasn't directed by Martin Scorsese, and it would be the same thing, it released on Netflix, do you think no one would care? Do you think the movie had besides that? Because like, there's a lot of meta to it. Like, I think a lot of people are going to see it and they're going to enjoy it because of the performance, and it's like, oh, these three guys, they're back together, and like, you know, like Al Pacino does like an amazing job. I think like he's really, you know, it's been a while since I've seen him do like actual acting.
His accent
Get a
was
little of
interesting.
my Don Cochino.
Oh, yeah.
His accent was actually very interesting. It was a very different accent. He never played someone who spoke like that.
Well, anyway, those are my
That's very
was
interesting.
my experience, and my experience was miserable.
Wow.
Do you have
It's
any?
funny.
Oops, sorry.
Impressions, like I don't know, like what I love about this movie. The best thing that I mean, other than what it's portraying, the best thing about it was that Netflix let Marty Scorsese do whatever he wanted. Doesn't matter how long it is, and it doesn't matter how big the budget it is. In this case, did you see the budget for this thing?
Was it 150?
159. Yeah, it's
And
like
they earned very little.
and they earn little, but that's just for the cinema release. Because and that's what's weird about Netflix is that it doesn't matter how much it makes because it's just there for their library for people to subscribe to their.
So they're getting the money from the
And that
subscriptions.
to me is the best because I want to see more people have that freedom to
would
make
love
a
that
movie that is expensive and it doesn't matter. It doesn't just do it. Just do it. That's
It was
like
nice
people
to see
been-
a movie like that again.
Sorry.
what.
I said it was nice to see a movie like that that's very in its grandeur.
Yeah,
so
I just
big
didn't
and
feel like
large.
I felt like there was a lot of wide shots that that Martin Scorsese is known to do. He does that kind of like especially for his mafia films. I've noticed that it's very like wide and open and kind of slow. I've noticed that somehow works on film better than it does. I think they were filming digitally for this.
I don't know. I was wondering the same
Oh,
thing.
And
in the middle of the
I was
film.
wondering, like, is it because it's digital or is it because just the cinematographer is different? I don't know.
You thought it was different from his other films?
Yeah, because like if you watched, like, I've seen a little bit of Casino. I've seen half of Goodfellas. I've seen what else did he make? He made we've watched
Wolf of Wall Street. Have you seen that?
Haven't, but we have seen just a while ago. We watched The King of Comedy,
Ah, yes.
and
Oh,
I don't know
we did
that.
watch King, but that's
those
his
felt-
earlier movie.
Yeah, but those felt real. This felt kind of like Netflix came in with
That's
their
weird.
cameras.
That's weird because I actually don't think that at all.
No?
No, my experience wasn't at all that. My experience felt this was very real.
Oh, okay. Because like for me, like just that film grain in the old movies and the fact that the film doesn't go well with low lighting just made it feel like it was like visceral.
No, I'm sure that definitely adds to it. But I think for me, the cinematography
Cinematography?
returns.
Oh, the Christmas
Drizzle
spice.
that on
Jenny cinnamon.
No, for me, it worked. Apart from the things you mentioned from the CGI and some of that in that TV shot. the rest was. We should find a screenshot of that.
Yeah.
The rest to me felt very, very natural.
So do you think it
know.
made
What
an
do you
impact
think,
on
Tim?
you?
Impact
Jake?
in what sense?
Oh, just like that it's just
story.
something that enriched you, either movie or story wise.
Well, one thing technically I liked how they interweaved, even though it was confusing in parts, like we spoke about, but I did like how they interweaved the timelines of you have him retrospectiving in the future. You have scenes from when he's kind of middle-aged and he's young, and I liked how they intertwined that, technically speaking. And what probably impacted me was just this angle they took of him being reflective. And for me, usually these sequences, let's say in the movie later on, when you see all these mafia bosses dying off and getting old, it really puts the whole thing in perspective for you. Because at the end of the day, these guys are really completely selfish individuals who really don't care about anyone. And, the great example is like at the end when this Russell guy, like he's going to church right before he dies,
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to church, like you'll see. And he's like, he doesn't care about anybody, about himself. He just wants to get his soul saved. Boom, he's done. I'm just saying that the perspective, and all these guys are dying off. They don't care anymore now. They'd rather be in prison, than actually sort of pay the price for what they did. There's no like perspective from these guys from like a moral standpoint or anything like that. And it just makes you realize, man, like this is so sad. And especially when you have this Frank character who's getting interviewed at the end by the FBI. They're like, man, all your friends are dead. He's like, who are you protecting? Just tell us so we can reveal to the victims, that who it was. He's like, no. He's still like stone cold.
Yeah.
I love the line where he's like, talk to my lawyer. And he's like, he's dead. And he's like, who did it? It's just the question. He was like, who killed him?
I think towards the end, really the whole film, in my opinion, was a build-up to this
to that
retrospective look back at this way of, if you want to call it, life. And that's what I found most interesting for myself.
Very good. Very good.
Philip,
I was bored out of my mind.
Since you're bored, and you're not into crime and mafia, do you have a movie that's mafia based that was interesting to you that you ever watched?
Yeah, you know what? This is going to sound so funny, but I was thinking, I would love a crime movie if Batman showed up. Taking down the criminals. And he does. In The Dark Knight. It's great.
Well, I have a question. What if there was a movie that was like this, like super detailed in the crime world, but then on top of that you had Batman?
Yeah, I would totally watch it.
Super intricate crime / Batman.
I totally watch it because for me, Batman is fascinating because of how extraterrestrial he is. This is someone that will never exist in real life.
In this movie, like Batman might capture Russell and be like, what have you done?
Yeah. And if he's on the case or something, we got this Batman.
Interesting.
If it was like realistically set like the Nolan movies, I would totally I would be interested. I would watch 3 hours of that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
what I
sorry,
would imagine? Like halfway through the
so
movie,
funny.
Batman's like sitting on a ledge, and just Frank comes and shoots him in the eye 2 times, like he shot everyone. Just like, hey, Batman, what? Done. That's it.
Since we're on this
dead.
topic, one thing I wanted to say
Ouch.
earlier, since we were talking about the technical stuff, I actually really, really loved how they did, and I'd never seen this before, how they did the slow-mo violence sequences.
Which ones are those?
Super slow motion. I think when someone was murdered.
At like
was it the Kennedy assassination? It was
the other one.
Something similar.
With the black guy.
Those Italian
so.
guys, guy. Yeah. He was like a union or something like that, like Italian pride or something.
Yeah, and those shots were actually very
that was super cool.
Impactful because they were so slow. And again, I think that plays into this whole approach of the retrospective, like looking at this in detail, and you're looking at these murders in slow motion, super slow motion, seeing every little, piece of the bullet go into the person. So anyway, that's a technical thing.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it was an impression, even though maybe it was boring on Phil and interesting on Jake. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So that was
okay. I have a last question for you, Tim.
Yes,
which is that since obviously for you it was too long.
No, I'm just Jacob. You told me.
I know, but let me just final question.
You told me.
Just 1 minute. Okay, I'm just curious. I'm done. Tim, my question is: do you feel that the length of the film is justified, or do you feel there was stuff that was filler?
I don't know if stuff was filler, but if I were to cut it, I would definitely. I think 3.5 is excessive. I think you can tell that story under 3 hours. Definitely. Probably within 2 hours, Okay,
yeah.
I think I don't know if something.
In my opinion,
I think it's a weird in between. Like sorry. I'll let you say then, Phil. I think it's because I love like crime series, which is like maybe like a 10-hour thing, like like a mini series or an 8-hour mini series, right?
Yeah.
You have an hour and it has some kind of context. I think it being just a long narrative for 4.5 hours, I did have to have the break. I think it was just like. There's just too much conversation that doesn't kind of come and go in little, bulks of things. You know what I mean? It was just too continuous.
Makes sense,
So that would be just like my criticism. What did you want to say, Phil?
I just wanted to say that. Crap, I forgot.
Okay, while you think, I just want to say that for me, I surprisingly didn't find any of the movie to be extra or cuttable in this sense. Yes, you could cut it down to a shorter film, but I felt like if you're already telling the story, then why not tell as much of the content as possible in the format.
Yeah, I was
But that's
gonna
because you
agree
love
with
crime.
No, it's
No,
not
no,
because
no.
I
I
love
was
because
gonna.
I love.
You
I
won't
love-
believe this, guys. You won't believe this. You love what?
I love when they do an
Slow motion
adaptation.
murder.
Yeah.
Adaptation from a novel or a book.
Yeah.
That's longer.
In it's as much as possible
Yes,
from the
yes,
book. That's why I
yes.
like it, because if you're gonna go all out, try to go all out.
Right, but then there's
Especially if you're
also-
doing like someone's life and you like cut out everything and everything's
Yeah.
sped forward. It gives you like a
You don't
That's
wanna
right.
make
I
it
think-
a
I think
Bohemian
biographies are
Rhapsody,
different.
which was a piece of shit movie.
It's true. It's
I didn't
true.
see it, but okay.
It's horrible.
It's
You won't
awful. One of
believe
the
me.
worst
You won't
movies I've
believe
ever
me,
seen.
but I think that the length is justified. If not, you could just trim it down to 3 hours because I feel like that's a little bit more conservative.
Like I
and-
said, if you're already doing it, just go 320.
Right, you're right. You're right, and I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
it's justified because if you're going to lead into the ending,
Yeah.
and it's going to give you all this
Yes.
context
Yeah.
for the ending to be stronger, and that's all I'm saying.
I think so. We're all similar opinions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
except it's
Except for
boring
Tim.
as hell.
All right. Okay.
All right, let's keep going.
It's fine. It's fine. You need to calm down. So while Phil calms down, why don't we play a song? Where's Johnny? Where's Johnny boy? Oh, there he is.
Johnny, I think he's back, right? He's working.
Yeah,
I
he was
don't
on a
know.
smoke
I've never
break.
met him.
Ah, Johnny.
He's smoking up.
Cancer.
Chimney.
Cancer's gonna get you. Like
Johnny.
like
Like the
Frank
wives.
Swire. Exactly. Johnny.
No
Okay.
surprise.
He's in the booth. Okay. So Johnny, play our song. We're back.
Nice. That was
Hey.
cool.
Nice.
I know it doesn't fit, but you know, I don't like.
I
to
can
pick songs
imagine that
fit.
playing in the background of the
Yeah.
of the film.
I like to freshen up. You know, sometimes you're too much in the criminal. You don't want to end up like Jacob. You gotta freshen
No,
it up.
you got to
sometimes.
lighten up a little bit.
Exactly.
What did I
So
play on my song? I
So
played
this-
the cool Corey Wong song, I think. No, I didn't. That was for the Joker.
that's true.
What did
Joker
I play for
Corey
my
Wong?
criminal episode? Remember I had a criminal episode?
You had a
You
criminal
did have
song.
a criminal episode.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe
Who
the people
knows?
know. So
Yes.
that was a song by Jacob 2-2. I found out about
Jacob
this
Tutu.
guy. I've been following him since 2013. Actually,
Oh,
he's a producer
Ooh.
from Brooklyn. I love his
from
stuff.
Brooklyn.
Back in 2013, I
Is he into crime?
discovered
Should we ask him?
I discovered the genre of vaporware. You guys know what that is?
I love
No.
vaporware.
Please tell us.
You do, Philip? Well,
Yeah.
You're being sarcastic.
I'm not being sarcastic.
What's
I know.
vaporware?
Really, what is vaporware?
Vaporware.
Well,
is
sorry,
when you take-
Vaporwave. So Vaporwave. Sorry,
Vaporwave, yeah,
Yeah.
Vaporwave, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's like where you take like old songs and tracks from the '80s and you try to.
It's
give it more new life by
commercial or
putting
corporate
elect-
songs. It's not actual like music. Like
Oh, okay. I see. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
It's
Interesting.
like
But I do listen to some vaporwave.
yes.
So you're saying let's say some
Tracks.
music that was commissioned for a commercial or something
Yeah.
like that.
Like
and
let's
they
say
splice
you know
out
like
those-
on hold phone. Like if you call some call center and that horrible
Yeah, yeah. Then they put the stupid
song with like
music.
saxophones.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you do that. You take that and usually slow it down, put echo on it, and that's like classic vaporwave, right?
Yeah.
And so I found out this when I found out I really love this music. So I found this Spotify playlist, and usually it's like that classic, like old school kind of like guys, like you know who did just like making it slow and stuff like that. But then in the playlist there was this guy Jacob 2-2 where he did that, but he also had like all sorts of samples and drum beats. And it was like more advanced
Different.
and more intricate.
Yeah.
And I love that album, his first album that he did.
Cool.
It was called I think that was just after EPs. That was his first album, Herbivore. I think that's what it's called. Yeah,
Herbivore.
Herbivore. And I love that.
I guess.
album.
I don't know.
And I've been following him since then. And he was nice
Nice.
enough
That's
to
cool.
let us play the song, which is awesome.
Jacob 2-2.
Check him out on the internet.
Exactly. So, do you guys? I have a public announcement.
Public announcement.
Public announcement time.
So last episode, when Phil was hosting, I got a 1 liter IPA.
That was interesting.
I remember
times.
that. Yeah.
and it had effect on me, and I think and it had a strange effect on me. I got into a fight with Phil at the end. It wasn't unjustified, but I think I was a bit too harsh
Aw.
on Phil, so I apologize that. And to make it up for it, especially being a host, I am not drinking beer or alcohol this episode.
Wow,
I
thank
have
you.
instead
I
of
appreciate that.
a craft beer, I have a craft soda. I'm drinking
Oh.
Fentimans botanically brewed, full flavored Curiosity Cola.
Dude, Fentimans is one of the best brands.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good cola soda drink.
Fentimans is a great brand.
I've never had it.
Philip, it's great.
They have
What is
cherry
it? What is
cola. They have vanilla cola.
It's British. It's a British company.
Okay. What does the logo look like?
I think a dog or something.
Yeah, like a
me show you.
sheepdog with his tongue out. Established
By the way, Tim,
1905.
Listen, interesting story that I actually heard about Fentimans Cola.
Oh, is that
from
the
our
old cola?
dear friend. Yeah. See,
Right.
know.
Yeah, now I know. Yeah, Tim, you're the one who gave me that, I think.
Oh, you did?
from our
Nice.
musical hero Jamie Lenman. A long
Oh,
time
Jamie?
ago. Yeah,
He's a
when he was,
Fentiman?
when he was like when he was making his comeback with his solo stuff, I saw on Instagram he was like after a long day of shows and stuff, I drink a Fentimans Cola, and I was like, interesting. What is this Fentimans Cola? And I Google it.
What is
and
this
I was-
hipster
and I was- yeah,
bullshit?
I thought it was that, and no, I thought it was like some esoteric thing, and it kind of
Yeah.
was. Turns out it's like proper, right? Cola,
Yeah.
old school way. I'm guessing probably sugar cane.
lots
and
of
stuff like
sugar.
that.
Yeah.
And the great thing is they also have them now too, so we can get them.
Hey,
Oh, you should get them.
nice.
Do you guys have any bevs?
My favorite is the I think it's
from
classic
Fatma.
Curiosity Cola, but I
They have
think
cherry
I,
colas
I
good
think
too.
I think I only tried the regular. I don't remember trying anything else.
Yeah, I got you one though once.
Maybe you might have, yeah.
Anyway, go on, Tim.
That's
No,
what
just
Tim's
what is-
drinking.
Yeah, that's what I'm
What are we
drinking.
drinking?
Well, we didn't get the memo, so
No, this is a personal choice and a personal.
because personally, I was also going to drink just like water.
yeah.
Or just
Tell us why, Jacob.
Well, I had a bad time. On Friday, I was this company, my company Christmas party, and the thing was that I thought I learned from my mistakes, and first of all, I learned one thing: I didn't mix any drinks. I just had the beer this time.
Good. One step.
And no mixing. But what I messed up was I didn't count how many beers I had. And now I've learned the lesson the hard way that the number one rule is don't mix. Number two rule, count your drinks.
Yeah.
And make sure to stop and see how you're doing, because I was just like, 4 beers later, nothing's happening. I'm thirsty. One more.
4.
I think I had like 5 or 6. Wow. It's bad. Yeah. It's bad. Too many.
You know what? I went out with Tim's older brother, Stan.
Yeah.
And his friend. We went to
For Horsemen.
No, not Four Horsemen. We went to a swanky.
The Five Horsemen?
We went to a swanky pub that had craft beer. I mean,
how many did you have?
How many did I have? I think I had just had 1.5, and I couldn't drink the last half because I was getting dizzy.
At least you.
That's craft beer. That could be
couldn't do it.
dangerous. Like those are full of goodness.
Well, anyway, I mean, I stopped myself because I just couldn't anymore.
That's good. See, you noticed earlier on. So yeah, and basically it was bad, and I didn't think anything was happening until I was going home, and then it was the classic, wobbly walk and blah blah blah, and then I ate a hot dog, a sausage. I ate a sausage on the way home. This is an amazing
drunk
story.
man.
The drunk man
The
walking
drunk
the
sausage.
streets, and I buy a sausage.
Well, Christmas market, right?
Yeah,
That's
the Christmas market here in Zagreb,
perfect.
and
Waiting for you.
I got a sausage, and I the weird thing is, like, I guess when you're like drunk or something, you don't really taste much. The thing was gone in like a second. I was like, the sausage just
sucked it
disappeared.
in. I require more sausages.
And then I was taking waiting at the bus stop, and I was like, I sat down, and it was like a horrible feeling. Your stomach, you're spinning. I'm like, I don't want to sit down. I gotta keep walking. And I'm walking around waiting for the bus.
Oh man.
Checking Google, no bus. And it's like next bus 4 a.m. I'm like, fine, Uber. And I'm like, the Uber man.
I'm surprised you could actually type on your phone.
Well, the thing is, like, you can do all that stuff, but you just feel bad.
By the way, you can use Siri for Uber. Just Siri, Uber me home.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I could do that next time I forget. And I sit in the back of the Uber, and dude, that's when it started kicking in a bad way.
Because you stopped, walking around.
Yeah, and I'm walking around
else.
thinking like, where you're feeling your stomach wanting to, I guess, puke or something, but you have to kind of be careful, and it's just the spins, and not a good feeling.
Because like you feel like everything, like
That's
the
the
entire world
worst.
is spinning.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like bad. It wasn't at all the happy kind. And so when I got home, I had troubles, and I thought I was going to puke, and I didn't. I was like going back from bed, and
Sausage
back to
saved
the
you.
bathroom, and overall it was bad. So yeah,
That's why
those are my lessons.
Yeah,
Count your
that's
drinks,
why you don't
children.
have any big alcohol.
Well,
drink.
I was thinking like I was gonna go pure water because like yesterday I had like a headache in the morning.
Yeah,
I was
you want to
like,
be
I was
baptized.
like, yeah, exactly, cleansed. And I was like, no alcohol. But then I figured today, I thought maybe you were going to be drinking a beer, Tim. I wasn't sure. So I did have a tonic with a little bit of gin. Just a little bit. Just a bit.
Look at this guy.
Just a little bit.
But it's okay. You can count those.
To be fair, Jacob
Yeah.
did share it with me, so
Yes.
it's not as much either.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
no,
So
I really was careful because I don't
So
want
you two are sharing a one
Yes.
gin and tonic.
No, we
Like
have
true brothers.
two glasses.
Oh, you have each. That's
You meant you shared. I shared the
Yeah, you
gin
shared the
drink.
rest of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever you
Yes.
had.
I was just drinking one out of one glass, just 2 straws.
No.
Romantic. Okay. That's good.
Cool.
So people, listen, people. I'm talking to you, our
Yeah, let's
people
hear it, let's hear it.
listeners.
People.
We got a thing.
Everybody, people.
We got a thing from you. We got a request from
Yes.
you. So we've been doing this. This is the 11th episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's our new podcast. And
11.
and we are hoping that we get to do this for a while now.
Yeah.
Since the beginning, we kind of looked at it, always trying, honing in, trying to always adjust it, see what best works for us,
Yeah, see
how
what
we like
sticks.
it, how, are we enjoying ourselves? Are we putting, good sort of material out there? Is the podcast worth anything? And that's our opinion. Now, what really helps is your opinion. So we did a survey.
A survey.
Listen, before you guys think, survey, I don't want to fill out forms. Listen to this.
Don't worry.
This is a super fun survey. Number one, The website, Typeform, is an amazing survey platform.
It's so hip.
Oh,
It's so
cool.
hip. It's so great. You'll just look at the interface and be like, this is so nice and easy, and I love how it looks like. It's so simple.
So
Yes.
And you can get through
simple.
you can get through the survey like that. And it's going to be, we have some good questions for you.
Yes.
So they're super relevant questions to the podcast, and we'd actually really love
The
if we could
podcast.
Yes.
get a better idea of what you guys are liking and what you guys aren't liking, because all that stuff will help us out to understand
Yeah.
what you guys are thinking, because we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We really want
We've
to
been
see
living in
what-
a hole.
You guys are listening, but we want to know what you're thinking. So we will put
We
the link
want to know.
of the survey in the link of this episode. So if you're listening on Spotify or you're listening on Apple Podcasts or any of those podcatchers, you should have the description there, and it should be a clickable link. In case it isn't,
Yes.
we're going to put it on our website, which is twofoldpodcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
And on the right, I was just making sure that I'm saying it right.
That's
And on the
great,
right,
Tim. It's a great idea. I didn't even think about that. There'll be a permanent link or semi-permanent
Yes.
link for some time of the survey. We'll put the nice word survey.
yes. So
In
you can
there.
clink on that. Clink. Now, in case none of that you can't get to,
We'll
also
say we'll write survey in parentheses clink, just so
Clink.
you know where to click.
just so you know.
Clink.
But if you can't get to any of those things, I'm gonna be an old man right now,
Okay.
and I'm gonna
Read it out loud.
I'm not even drinking, and I can't say this. I'm gonna read out loud the link.
Okay.
And if you're next to a computer, you can type as we go along. So
Oh,
everybody,
wait,
get your,
wait.
Yeah.
Everyone get your iPhones out, your computers out, onto
Yes.
the browser.
or your piece of paper, you're gonna write it down. So this is
Yes.
like back
True.
in 2001 when like the internet was new. Like now they go like, oh, go to Adidas.com. Back in the day, they would say the whole goddamn address because old people didn't know how to use it, and neither did young people. So let's do it,
I think everyone's
2001
ready. I
style.
think everyone's ready. Okay, so
Let's
let's
do
listen
this.
closely.
HTTPS, the two dots,
Colin.
Colon.
yeah, like in your belly.
My
Then we
spleen and
have,
Colin.
Backstroke.
Forward slash.
Backstroke. Oh,
Was that
forward
backslash?
Oops. I don't know.
I think that's forward slash.
Going great.
Damn it. Oh, let's say forward slash. Twofold podcast, one word, dot, typeform, one word, dot, com, / TO as in toe, / and now it's going to get tricky because we got uppercase and lowercase.
TO is all lowercase or no?
Yes, all lowercase. So after that TO, there's a slash, and then there is uppercase W, lowercase k, uppercase W, 5, uppercase F, and lowercase I.
I'm confused. I'm writing this down and I can't tell what's going on. So is it?
So are people writing uppercase?
Oh, if you're not
joking,
writing
I'm
uppercase.
This is amazing. So should we do it one more time? Just for
Okay. So it's and now
Forget
in
the
brief form.
HTTP.
Yes, in brief form. It's twofoldpodcast.typeform.com /2/ uppercase W, lowercase k, uppercase W, 5, uppercase 5. Shit.
Why can't we
amazing.
get to after 5? What's after
But Tim,
5?
I have a big question. Don't
There
you,
is no
don't you think
uppercase
it's easier
5.
just clicking a link? It seems like you just bing.
We have to finish it. We started it. We finish it.
Here's
Go,
the problem.
Tim.
Here's the problem. It's in 5 and then there's F to it. So if I say 5, I want to say 5. So the last bit again, uppercase W, lowercase k, uppercase W, 5, F, I. I think it doesn't matter if it's uppercase,
I
lowercase.
as in iPod.
iPod?
Yeah. So that's the worst case scenario. You can't find a link. You follow these instructions. Worse.
True.
So
True. Best
and-
case scenario description
Yeah.
in the
Exactly.
podcast show notes or the sidebar clink link.
Yes.
on
Clink
the
link.
Twofold
Please
podcast website.
do it. We want to get your feedback.
Honestly,
we love the
I would
feedback.
also ask, please check it out. I know it sounds boring, but seriously, it's not. It's interesting. Just
It's
click
only a
the
couple
link,
of questions. It's
and
nothing
honestly,
too crazy.
It goes a long way for us if
Yes.
we can get an insight into what you guys are thinking. And the great part is, number one, it's totally anonymous.
Yeah. So we won't, call you
We
out.
won't know
Yeah.
at all who you are. So you could say,
Well-
that
We
you
won't
guys
publicly
are
shame you.
awful. And we'll be like,
Yes.
okay, fine. Random man,
But-
person, woman.
But there's a choice. If you don't want it to be anonymous, what you can do is in the last question, you can write down your name, your nickname, your internet tag, whatever it is that we can call you out after because
It's not
It's a
Tell us, Tim,
survey.
Why? Why
There's-
would someone want to break
Why?
their anonymity and write their name?
Why?
there's okay there, Johnny. There's a little incentive for you guys. Because out of all the people who put down their nickname or name, right, we're gonna do a raffle. We're gonna pick out two random surveys from the list.
Two random.
Yes.
Because twofold.
Twofold, exactly. We're keeping it with the numbers. And those two people will get a little something special for Christmas.
A prize.
And not only a prize, a custom prize.
Yeah.
I gotta
Exactly.
stress that. A custom prize from us to
us.
you, and we'll draw your name.
Two
So,
of you. Too.
From Redbubble, but yes.
I mean, honestly, if you think about it, guys, the surveys are still completely anonymous. If the individual wants to put a nickname, then it's totally anonymous. If you want it that way. If you would like to have your name said out loud and
put your
known,
name on,
then put your name. You don't have to do last name. You can do first name. Whatever you feel comfortable doing, that's great. As long as we can say your name or nickname on the podcast to know that you are that person who will give the special prize.
Special prize.
It'll win
Exactly.
that prize.
The only reason that it's there, so then when we choose, like randomly choose the winner, so we can call out a name, and then you can contact us through like Instagram or like email or wherever you can.
Whichever works. Yeah.
So then we know where to send your prize. So that's great. I think I'm looking forward to your answers eagerly.
And the cool thing is, me too,
Same.
honestly. And the cool thing is, like we said, the survey will be up, so no rush. But it'd be awesome if you could check it out after this episode or during this episode.
Yeah,
just so
while
you
you're
don't forget,
listening,
while
you
you're
can do
listening,
it. It's right there.
But it will be up online, so no worries in that case. But check it out. We would love to hear what you guys think.
Absolutely. I agree.
So
100%.
Yep. So Jake, why don't you like boomer memes?
So boomer memes, I don't like them because some of these memes get very, very tiring very quick, especially when they're not funny.
Okay.
And this is an example that to me personally are not funny at all.
Are you a boomer
And,
apologist?
What does that mean?
You're a boomer apologist?
You side with
What?
the boomers? You
See,
feel
that's the
that
thing. Why? Stop the sides. That's exactly why the meme sucks. Because they're making these stupid sides on the internet, which they're not funny. Sometimes there's really good memes online, and I like them.
Yeah.
Especially when you see an image or a Photoshop, it's like,
Yeah.
But this is just like,
I like the Star Wars prequel memes myself.
you mean in general?
like this.
Yeah,
Just like this
Just
what's your
hilarious.
hot
I don't know.
lines.
I honestly, I just don't like it, and I feel like the sentiment around it, I felt is a very kind of negative, kind of stupid.
You're drawing lines between.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming from not a like fun place. It's coming from like an angry,
Like
place. It's
tribalism, where we're like,
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's like it's adding to the problem and not funny. So that's my opinion on boomer memes.
Okay, boomer.
And the second part is that I don't like when they just stick around forever online.
Oh, they
It's
won't. I'm
it's
sure they
just-
won't.
Yeah, but that's why I said I'm glad when it's going to die out soon. It's going to be awesome.
You look forward to the day.
'Cause I know this is
you know
the
what's funny?
cycles.
It's like how far we've become. It's like it's sticking out forever. I think that meme was popular for a month already. You're just like, be done with it.
Well, because the internet time is different. I know that
It's
some
true.
of these things are just like 3 days and
Yeah.
they're gone forever.
What's like a bad boomer meme that you've seen that pissed you off?
I
What
actually
made you?
don't
Because
remember.
here's why I'm asking. Because Jake deliberately put this on Twitter, so that's why I'm calling him
well,
out.
I think,
on
Oh,
it.
you
I,
did,
think I
right.
saw it somewhere on Twitter or someone like retorting to other people, like, okay, boomer or something in context of some
Yeah.
tweets or something in conversations. I was just like, it's not funny. Why waste the words?
I think it's really
Using it.
funny.
I'm gonna.
Okay, tell me why you think
I'm
it's
gonna
funny.
tell
What do you
my
think,
kids
Phil?
this is the boomer memes.
I want to hear you guys' thoughts.
Because
on
like
boomer memes.
here's the thing. Long time ago, me and Jake, we were talking about we were playing Minecraft. We were talking about jokes, and you said something that I've been thinking about since then. And you're like, I don't find jokes or comedy movies funny anymore. The only thing I find funny is like inside jokes.
Okay,
I was
Who
thinking
said
about
this?
that.
You?
okay.
Jake said
Jacob,
that.
you said that?
Yeah.
Well,
And
ago,
I-
right?
Yeah. And I was thinking about this entire time. I was like, that's so true. Like, I haven't told the joke since I was like 12. I don't like there's nothing that makes me laugh more than an inside joke. Like something just a super situational, and it's just like a connection with someone, and then you just drag it to death. And I think that's what memes are. They're just like global inside jokes.
Yeah.
And it's like memes
to
are
a
not
degree, yeah.
necessarily funny. It's just a context. And I think
Yeah.
what's
yeah.
funny about the OK Boomer meme to me is that how overused and how out of context it used. Like it's just for anything. It's
see.
just like completely out of context. It's just like OK Boomer. And I think a boomer would get annoyed by it because he thinks it's like a personal attack to him. Well, I think
Gotcha.
at this point it's just like I don't care. It's just like, this doesn't concern me. This is something that's just like nothing to me, and it's just a
So you're
funny
saying
response.
it's that extra layer for you that makes it.
Yeah.
actually
Yes,
funny.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
With the
Makes
jam
sense.
in the middle of the cake that our grandma used to make that I hated.
Oh, really? Wait. So Baka
yeah.
Anna chocolate cake. You're
Yes.
one of the bastards because
Me and Phil, maybe.
because I love the goddamn jam in the middle. But my grandma confused me with you two bastards, and she wouldn't put it for me. And I'd be like, "Where's the jam?" Oh, you don't like it, Dodechki. And I'm like, "No, I love the stupid jam in there. It's the best. It combined
So
with the
let me get some
goddamn."
context for our listeners. Wait, Tim.
Sorry,
so
I'm swearing. I got upset. I apologize. Bad language.
Our grandmother, who is sadly not with us anymore,
No. Yes.
she used to bake a cake,
Yes.
a chocolate cake,
Mhm.
which was, think of like a very classic sort of
It's
more
like a
European chocolate cake, almost like
It's like a Sacher cake, but like super like
yeah, the Austrian Sacher
For
cake,
you cake
but a
connoisseurs.
little more moist, not as dry. But think of that, kind of like a
Yes.
classic chocolate
Yes.
cake, more not the crazy sweet.
you get like
American
chocolate
kind.
dough, couple of layers on it, which is divided with it's like butter kind of
butter
filling.
chocolate cream,
Yeah,
frosting
kind of filling,
type thing.
and then in between layers, and then she would put, this is a Sacher cake thing. This is what Sacher cake is. You put the layer of jam usually there. It's traditional. I think it's maybe like apricot, but you can do like strawberry or whatever.
No, I think she used marmalade, which is the orangey jam.
I thought marmalade is just.
I don't
It's just-
care.
What's the difference between
we have to
jam,
tell-
marmalade,
Oh, come on.
We have to we have to decide
or jelly?
No, listen. So marmalade is a fruit preserve made from the juice and peel of citrus fruits boiled with sugar and water. So
Oh no, she never
citrusy
used that.
fruits.
No, she never
No,
used
marmalade
citrus.
is like
did.
bitter or gross. No.
No,
But she's
I had
apricot
that
then,
cake.
apricot
Maybe
jam.
in Vienna for fancy, Vienna boys.
Okay, but
But when she was in
apricot jam?
Serbia, yeah, apricot jam with strawberry jam. That's what she. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Apricot jam. I remember the orangey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the short version of the story is that I guess you too, Phil. I didn't know this.
I
either.
hated it.
See, I didn't like it either too. I always loved the cake, but I was like, this cake would be so much better without the jam.
Yeah.
Man.
And then I would request through the channels like mothers and grandmothers,
Yes.
and it would somehow get through.
Yeah, through the grandmother network.
and then it got
Yes,
ruined
to
for
the
me.
parents. And then she would make it without it. And I'm like, oh, this is the version, the good
It
version.
was great, wasn't it? Without the jam.
And then poor Timothy
yeah.
was
I got stuck with a
collateral
non-jam
in the story.
It's true.
It's like it's the ingredient that makes it special. It's just a boring ass cake.
No, it's a good
Without the
chocolate
jam.
cake.
We're gonna.
But I think I probably appreciate it more now because more complex flavors.
yeah,
are
well, too
interesting.
late. So
It's too late, but we should maybe get some Sacher cake and
Okay.
When was
we
the last
should
does
do
that have jam in
Sacher.
it?
It does.
Yes, that's what
Gross.
it. Yes, what? All right.
So Phil, I see, Phil, you have
I've not grown up.
definitely.
Sorry.
You're still a jam
no
hater.
crime and no jam. So Philip,
I'll try. I'll try
Crime
it. I'll
jam.
try.
so Phil,
Yeah.
what did you think of the Lion King remake?
Oh, right. I talked to you guys about that, right?
Yeah, you saw it recently. You finally saw it.
Yeah. I watched it because it's not in cinemas, so I don't have to pay these people anything for this.
Give us a short review.
Yeah,
I'll
it
set the
was-
timer.
It was a beautiful tech demo. I was very impressed. I thought that the animation they had for the lions and the fact that Jon Favreau said that he wanted to get the lions to feel like lions, not like human beings expressing emotion. And I think they nailed it because it really felt like a lion and it really felt like it was shot in real life. So I like watching it in 4K is really nice. Like it looked really nice. There's a few parts that were a little CG, like the environments and stuff, but other than that, it was really good to watch. And
that's it.
the other side of that was that it was a miserable experience. I would honestly watch the Irishmen twice over
Ooh,
watching.
that's interesting.
You were like
over-
big Lion King guy, right? I remember you
Yeah,
as a kid. You
when I
used
was
to
a
draw
kid,
all the shots.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I watched it so often that I can still kind of quote many of the lines from the
Wish
movie.
you can quote this movie too, because it's exactly the same line for line, except one thing which I did appreciate:
Dude,
the
it
Timon
was-
and Pumbaa thing. That's like off the rails, man. That's totally crazy. Like I remember, like that. I enjoyed that part because it was a little bit different, right?
You watched the new one?
Yeah, I did. That's what I'm asking
Why?
about it.
Oh, I
When
didn't
did
know
you
that
watch the
either.
new
Yeah,
one?
I didn't see that.
I did just recently when it came out.
When?
On the
In
home
cinemas?
video.
When it came out.
No, on the home video, on the home
Okay.
I didn't know that
release.
at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I tried Aladdin. That was miserable. It lasted
No, I'm
10
sorry.
minutes.
For me, look, Lion King, I couldn't take anything, and all of the jokes.
Not
did
even Timon and Pumbaa stuff. That was funny. Little Pumbaa in the lake.
Pumbaa farting. Yeah,
Yeah, that was glorious. Look, he was so cute.
Uh,
That was
no, I'm
funny.
sorry.
The rest was miserable.
It was so bad, man. I was so. If I felt depressed, I felt more depressed after watching that than I did watching.
The only thing I remember was you
What are you
sent us a
doing to
little
yourself,
clip
Philip?
of you watching it.
I just wanted to see the
actor who
graphics. I
did-
wanted
who
to see the
played
graphics.
Simba was like, "Let's go over there."
Who? Don Glover.
I don't know.
Don Glover. Donald Glover.
Donald
He was
Glover.
the actor.
Yeah.
Well, Donald
Danny
Glover
Glover.
sounded like he was going, "Let's go over there."
Yeah. None of them. None of them had any range. Like
What
honestly,
about that mountain?
Mufasa. James Earl Jones.
probably
Did he
deep voice now.
record all those lines or just use the old lines?
I thought it was
He's probably
using the
like,
old ones, but I would know
Simba.
because I watched it so many times. No, they re-recorded him, and look,
It's great.
in the original, Mufasa was passionate. You felt like the actor was putting a soul into this lion. Now he's just—it's like they just filmed him in his living room.
I'm done.
Seriously, like,
Favreau, stop
line
making me
two.
read these lines.
honestly, they just gave him lines without the full script, and he was just reading them, and then they just recorded his voice. That's what it felt like. I was.
Why
it
couldn't
was
they just
so
use the old
embarrassing.
audio and just do a tech like?
Honestly, I was thinking
that would be interesting.
that would have been great, but you know what I
Like
was
a-
thinking?
like just a
What?
visual remake.
I was just thinking, I was watching the movie and I thought, these lines look so real. They don't even feel like they're talking. And I thought, just
Yeah.
make it a silent film.
Silent.
And with music,
Oh,
I think
that
it
would
would
be
tell
amazing.
it would tell the
That'd
entire
And David
thing.
Attenborough, there's Mufasa fighting Scar for the
But yeah,
Dominion.
His role.
But yeah,
I'm
there's
looking
a-
at his lips. I think he's saying, "Long live the king."
yeah.
If he were to
So
talk, of course.
I mean,
Oh,
honestly,
hey,
like
Frank Ireland, are you
I was
listening?
just so so.
Do you think
bad.
Frank likes
I
this movie?
really, I
Hey
don't know.
Frank,
but
can you like take the audio from the old Lion King and just splice in the new Lion King into it?
Yes, Frank.
that's easy.
Make a new
Do that.
video.
That would be
Yeah.
great. I'll watch that. I think.
Honestly, I was
I
thinking.
think
of
the
trying to-
audio, like the like what's it called, the new voices. What is it? What is this? What is this? What is that
Voices.
called?
Voce. What'd
The
you want to say?
voiceover? Not the
yeah,
voiceover.
the voice
Voice actors. Okay, the voice actors were lacking most of the time, except
Man,
Timon and
it's just-
Pumbaa. That was funny. The rest was just
Okay.
like Beyonce singing and going.
Yeah.
And you.
Yeah,
Shut up,
yeah.
Beyonce.
Okay, so let's
It's not your movie.
Let's stop talking about Lion King because I was depressed.
So
and
basically,
sad.
you would say
I was smitten.
not recommend, if I'm understanding you.
Oh man, you don't want to kill yourself after watching that. So,
Poor Phil.
You
Okay,
should-
okay.
that's
so
good.
bad.
Okay, so
Let's
move
help
on.
Philip. Let's help Philip. The
One
second
more-
movie.
if there's
What?
one more, wait. If there's one thing I can say about this is that no, I don't have anything to say. Never mind.
Okay,
forget it.
that's good. That's good. But because we do have a second movie. You thought we don't, but we do. We always got them. And the second movie, I can't remember how to pronounce, so I'm gonna say In Bruges.
In Bruges.
In Bruges. Okay. In Bruges. I picked this movie because I always wanted to see this movie. It's funny because I listen to the soundtrack a lot, especially the main theme.
That's
this was a
interesting, Tim, because I thought that you already saw this, and it's an old Tim.
No.
Yeah, same.
This was a bizarre viewing because I was very familiar with the music,
Ha.
and in my mind I had a very different movie. let's to put it lightly, but it came to pop to my mind immediately. Saw the Irishman because I knew what was the movie about. Like in general, it was about two Irish hitmen hiding in Belgium after murdering. So I was like, Irishman, murder, crime, match made in heaven. We get to watch in Bruges.
In Bruges, 2008.
2008.
That's right, 2008.
I did not expect this movie at all. I thought it's going to be like, because the music is very like TV drama.
Yeah, it's very mellow. Dun, 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 piano. Dun,
It's
dun, dun, dun.
like a mystery drama of murder, and it's like who killed who in Bruges. I don't know. And instead we have Colin Farrell
yeah, obsessed with midgets.
obsessed with midgets and being just like. It's been a while since I watched a movie when someone's just like so not PC. Like anything he says out of
Yeah.
this man's mouth is
Yeah.
either homophobic, racist, or just crude. But I gotta ask you guys, what did you think of In Bruges?
I went first.
Jacob.
You go first, Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Phil.
Wow.
Yes, Phil.
Yeah, 'cause
Me?
I went first last time.
Okay, well,
Yeah, Phil.
it was a heartwarming comedy that the entire family can enjoy. That's what I.
It's true. It's true.
I thought. No, to be fair, I thought it was a wild ride of honestly, like I kind of dark comedy stuff.
Mm-hmm,
I do. So for me, if it's just a little bit, kind of funny, kind of kooky, it kind of works for me. So I like the flow. I like the energy. It was the opposite of The Irishman, where The Irishman was very slow. This one was very fast. This one was like this is going to sound funny that I'm mentioning this at the forefront, but I thought the cinematography was really nice.
You mean the cinematography?
Yeah, I thought the cinematography was very, very nice. I really, that kind of neutral, I don't know, there's something about it that I really liked about it, and I did like the use of the, like the shots and the movement with the steady cams and the handhelds. It was fun.
It was like 2008, right? Where it came out. You know what's funny? Like, I wanted to ask you that. Is there, because this movie really reminded me of like Edgar Wright movies and just like that. I think it's like maybe there's a school of directors. I think it's an era because like everything's deliberate. Like you have deliberate shots, you have deliberate storylines, you have like there's a lot of setup and stuff like that. Like
deliberately cynical characters.
Like there's at the beginning, it's like these like you would maybe use them as tropes a little bit like too. At this point where you see them like Edgar Wright use it and all these people from this kind of era, like it means a little bit too heavy-handed. Like, he's on top of the tower and he's got a gun pointing at him. Like at the end, he's gonna have a gun from the tower. Like you can see these things coming miles away.
Yeah.
But there's definitely like this spirit of it. I wonder like if there's a school of directors from that era, like what's it inspired by? Like who?
I wondered too, because sort of the feel of the movie is, and this is why are you finished? I wanted to say something.
You can speak freely, my friend.
Okay, I wanted to say that.
You can speak freely, my friend. Speak now.
I quite enjoyed this movie. First of all, it was interesting because, like I said, I really thought this was an oldie from your repertoire.
Yeah,
Tim,
yeah. Because it felt like it, didn't it?
Like a Tim film,
totally
like
a Tim film, man, like all the way.
Yeah,
and
black humor
I thought
and stuff.
I thought you like pulled it out from the archives and like, man, this is a movie I watched so many times. Like, I know every line, and it was also your style of tone.
Sure.
And it felt like it came out of Tim's style of DiveX files that he had
from back in the day.
My old collection,
or a movie like you saw like in Northern Ireland, like in Belfast. You watch this, and But
that's interesting.
That aside, I wanted to say that the tone, honestly, I loved in the movie, because what they did in this movie is that if you haven't seen the movie and you're listening to the podcast, the tone is pretty much
Twofold.
It sort of is this fine line. It balances back and forth between this dark criminal angle, totally counterbalanced with the comedic side of things. And what I actually love the most about the movie is that every sequence that you think is building up to a very depressive, sad, and real violent or horrible act, always, it's like it winds you up and then you suddenly just totally decompress and realize okay, this is a joke.
That's what I like. That's what I like.
We're back with the funny, stupid, like kind of
yes.
the smart guy and the dumb guy, Pinky and the Brain type duo, who are in this context of like, we're doing crime, and then they're like wrestling with some of these things, but all of it is not so serious to the point where you're always, like I said, pulled back into the relief. Which I think the film did really, really well. And that's what makes it fun to watch.
Yeah, and what I liked about it was that I think part of the joke, what I love about this type of humor, like the way it was presented here, it's not a style of humor, it's just things that I noticed that made me laugh. And one of them was just the use of having a character in the film that you don't see for like half of the movie, and they talk about him all the time. He's like the boss guy. Right. And then you see him and he's refines. Yeah. And I don't know, for some reason that just made me laugh when I saw him. I was like, ha! Yeah. And I think that was used deliberately.
What do you think? Yeah, for sure.
Like, oh man, it's funny.
Did you know anything about this movie before?
Nope, not at all. Nothing.
Just the description, a little bit, synopsis.
I've seen a couple of quotes. I've like in movie essays, like video essays and stuff like that. And I knew about Ralph because I was really confused because I know that line. I've seen it like 1,000 times when he's on the phone when you find a reveal and he's like hitting the phone and his wife comes in and she's like, Harry, it's an inanimate fucking object. And he just starts
an inanimate fucking object.
I've seen it like 1,000 times and I was like, and I forgot, I was expecting that and I completely forgot about it when it came. I was like, oh, there it is. I've seen that scene. And that's the only thing I really knew about it.
My brief story is that You know something? I don't know?
I was just
What?
going to say his wife is played by the woman who was the really annoying pregnant lady in The Office season 3.
Ah, yes. British Office.
Oh,
the British
yes.
Office.
Tim's a new
Yes.
colleague who's like, we went to Disneyland Paris.
Oh yeah.
Hi, I'm
Waiting in
pregnant. Don't
line.
you see?
Anyway, I wanted to say that. Oh, great. Now I lost my train of thought.
no.
We were saying
no.
something about before that. Ah, yes. My only experience watching any part of this movie was at like a mall or like a store or something.
Yeah.
And they have the DVD player. Look at me. Playing
Boomer.
Yeah. Okay.
playing a
boomer.
movie, on the TV,
Yeah.
the demo movie.
Yes.
And there was the clip or they were
Showing
playing
off the
film, and it was-
HD.
yes, and there was the scene where the American tourists are coming in,
Oh, yeah.
and he's talking to them, making fun of them, and stuff like that. So I saw.
Oh, was it the
that clip.
fat people?
Yeah, and I was watching this scene. I was like, this is kind of an interesting film. I wonder what this is about. And then after that, I never.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when did you
Connected
see
it.
that?
A long time. I think maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago or something. Like that.
Wow.
And
That's
then
a
when
great
you
s-
picked this movie, I was like, oh, this is the movie I wanted to see.
How did
when I saw it
how
in
did
the
you know?
store.
Did you just notice based on the cover or something?
Based
or-
on Colin Farrell,
Mhm.
based on him sitting at the bench in front of the church with the whole sequence.
Okay.
Colin,
so
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. So but that's a great example, that scene, of what you were talking about, the setup, because you have like it's like witty comedy. He's insulting these because he's the younger, he's crass, he has no manners, and he's insulting these 3 fat Americans who want to go up in the tower, and he's like, you're not going to get up there, you're too fat. They start fighting, chasing each other, and then the olden hitman comes out, the one with all the culture and everything. He comes out and you're thinking he's like that he's gonna yell at him or be mad at him, and he's like you're going up there, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, wait, you're too fat to go up there.
Yeah. That's
So
good.
yeah, there's a lot,
And
there's a lot
then
of that.
at that point, the Americans just lost it.
Yeah,
Um,
and there's also Canadians, and there's
But
Oh, yes,
the
the-
interesting thing is, yeah, because he thought it was an American, right? But
Yeah.
it's Canadian. No, but it's interesting how these the characters, like you said, the Colin Farrell characters, like so super direct. I mean, to the point where, I just like seeing it because it's a sort of, like you said, very different vibe.
yeah.
The movie doesn't take itself seriously in that regard.
But it still has a serious little.
Yeah. But like you said, it's serious.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have that weight in the
Yeah.
sense of like, even at the end, obviously spoilers, when Ralph Fiennes finds Rafe Fiennes.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's
Yeah.
spelled Ralph, but you say Rafe.
Okay, Rafe Fiennes.
Okay.
And
Right.
what's the other actor's name?
Colin
Okay.
Farrell?
Here's I'm
No,
gonna make
another.
it. I'm gonna make it
Brendan
really.
Gleeson.
Yes.
I'm gonna make it really easy for you. So you have Mad Eye Moody, you have Grindelwald,
Yeah.
you have Fleur Delacour,
Oh,
and you have
man, you're
Voldemort.
right.
They're all there.
I didn't even
Oh,
think
there.
about that.
So those are better names to use. I was just watching. It was
So-
like, well, this is Harry Potter, but they're like killing each other with guns. This is amazing.
When they die, there's less of that weight. I mean, even the way he dies, right? He's like, I think I'm gonna die. I think
I'm gonna die.
I
But that
hope
was,
that
but that
wouldn't
was
die.
so like, like a lot of times it remind me of stuff like Guy Ritchie kind of comedies, and also like a lot of like Coen Brothers stuff. But the tone was, I think it just had like a weird English modern kind of feel to it. Like there was like the
Yeah.
jokes, and then like a lot of like black humor, and just scenes just kind of like going to a different place. But
so. Yeah, I really actually enjoyed the movie overall in that sense.
I did too. Thank
Yeah.
you for picking it.
Yeah.
I do like the British English
Me too. Yeah.
kind
yeah,
of self-deprecating approach where you can still make a drama, but you can still laugh at yourself.
I think my
It's-
favorite, probably one of my
Yeah.
favorite sequences. Sorry, I cut you off. Go on.
no, go ahead. You go ahead.
My favorite sequence, one of them, was at the end when the woman is at the inn, and you have like Rafe Fiennes and Colin Farrell shouting at each other with these stupid made up rules of we have to have the showdown.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just jump out the window, and it's like, fine, you're gonna go. You promise? I promise, I'll go. And
Yeah,
someone's like, you guys are insane. And
The
it's
Harry
just
and
so
his
funny how
principles, yeah.
stupid it is. Yeah.
can't
And
shoot
it's just
him out.
ridiculous. And he jumps onto the boat in the canal, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What is the point?" He loses his gun. He gets shot. The whole thing is just like surreally dumb in
Yeah,
that sense.
yeah.
But that's why it works.
It's
in the
great.
film.
It's been a while since I've seen a movie like that. I think what the hell was it called? El Royale? Like the one with Thor? That was a movie
That
I've seen
time's at
recently.
El Royale?
Yeah. It had a similar vibe, like situational stuff, a lot of like Tarantino kind of killing going on, but then just mainly conversations, like natural conversations between people. But what did you guys think of, like, there's a point where well, here's the thing. After watching The Irishman, right? The like 4.5 hours. I looked at the running time because it's on Netflix, so you can watch
4.5
as well.
now. Is that the extended version you're watching?
3.5 hour movie. I looked at it and it said they're like 1 hour 40 minutes. I was like, oh god, yes, a quick movie. I am saved. But
actually,
you know
I was
what?
happy about that too.
Yeah, and then it
swift
plays, and it's a swift movie, but it takes a while, and then there's a moment where you think it's going to end, like right, he's like, I'm going to save, because the story is that the two hitmen, and you learn this as a way, it's not kind of like not put up front at the beginning. You know, we got Mad-Eye Moody, who's like the old hitman, and Grindelwald, who's the younger one, and this is his first job. He shoots a priest, accidentally shoots a little kid. And their boss sends him to Bruges in Berlin.
He kills the kid too, by the way.
At first, you're thinking
by accident.
Yeah. At first, it's supposed to.
That's one.
They're like hiding, but it turns out Harry just sent him there because he wants to kill him because someone's going to pay for it for the kid dying because of his rules. But he actually sent them there to have a good
Harry
time.
Potter?
Voldemort.
No, Harry, yeah.
Voldemort sent Grindelwald and Mad-Eye Moody because he wants to kill Grindelwald because he killed little Harry Potter. So it gives him a little thing, right? But and then having this little weekend with Mad-Eye Moody changes his mind. He's like, like he's his first time. It was an accident. He's not a bad guy. Let's not ruin his life or kill him because of it. So he lets him go. And there's a scene, he's like, okay, let him go. You introduce Voldemort, right? But so it's a scene, so I'm wondering where's this going, but it has like a finality to it, and then there's like a whole thing, like a whole part to it afterward. You're like, I'm letting go, do what you with me, credits roll, right? No, there's more love, there's romance, there's people going back and forth, killing.
Well,
it's
actually,
crazy.
I love the part where he gets arrested in the train, and he's like, "We're taking you back to Bruges." And he's like, "Brilliant." I think that's like sums up sort of the style.
Yeah, it's like all tied up in the end.
But I like the concept, right? The concept. You know how sometimes concept movies like this, where it's like the whole movie's going to take place in a town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do that wrong, it's a boring and bad film.
Yeah, it's like self...
but this is a neat movie in that sense, because it's like, oh, let's make a movie with this idea, this concept, and kind of make it funny that they're stuck in this town. And to the viewer, it is kind of a random town. Like, I've never heard of this town before, probably. I don't know if you guys have or not.
No. Maybe I've heard it, but I didn't
But I
remember.
think that's the idea, right? It's just like, oh, okay. And you move, and you do the whole film like that.
The old castles and medieval.
Also,
and
it's
all
interesting that the director, I think his name is Paul McDoogle.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Is it Paul McDoogle?
It is exactly Paul McDonough.
McDonough.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
McDoogle.
McDonough?
That's another Harry Potter thing.
That's his first movie.
No, Martin McDonough.
His first feature.
Yeah, I want
Oh, is his first feature? That's pretty good. It feels okay.
It feels like a first feature. I knew you were going to say that.
There's what I was talking about before. There's like these narrative structures. It feels very student. It feels like a student who finished school has all these like tools and they really want to use it. Like I think when you watch
what was Paul
like,
McDonough? What was his like background, Jacob? Could you check
Martin
real quick?
McDonough.
What?
That's his name. No, Paul.
Oh, whoops.
like it has the good thing is that it has a lot of character, so it kind of saves it from.
What'd you say, Jacob?
His
what?
background? What do you mean
Yeah.
background?
Like, what did he do before making this
Nothing.
movie?
I think this is he did some 6-shooter. Writer director. Anyway, Tim, what do you want to say?
No, like I just going back to the thing I was talking about. Like it feels like very student. Like you watch someone like Martin Scorsese, like the movie has its own flow and it's kind of like its own thing. I think as with experience, you kind of you let sometimes movies breathe and be doing their thing instead of like putting such a structure and kind of like the narrative thing. So it felt like someone's first movie. But that doesn't take away from that it's a brilliant movie. I enjoyed it myself as well. It was a fun roller coaster. Yeah. And if any listeners have any suggestions to movies like this, I would be willing to check it out.
I agree.
Or maybe if there are other movies from this director that you recommend.
Do you guys remember?
I agree. Yeah.
Do you guys remember the on-set photo of The Irishman?
Wait, this guy did 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Oh,
tell us about
this. This was 2 years ago. I watched this.
What
it
is
was
this?
so strange because it felt like such a Coen Brothers movie that wasn't a Coen Brother movie.
Well, look at that.
It makes sense now. It all makes sense. This guy loves Coen Brothers.
He sure does. So look at this. So do you guys remember on Reddit there was a that one that right there that you're looking at, that picture of the Irishman that they were filming, that was 2017, and there's a picture of, that's all I knew about the Irishman, and it was Robert De Niro with these giant like shoes, those shoes that made him really tall in comparison to Al Pacino.
Oh, okay. Huh.
And I thought he was going to be wearing those in the film.
Oh,
That's
So I was
amazing.
disappointed.
You should put
You don't
that in the
remember
link
this?
so people know.
Yeah, let's do it.
So people know. Okay, people. So let's. I think we talked about everything.
did.
Is there any peril that you can
Peril. I'm in not in peril.
you can talk about?
The only thing I'm in peril with is that I missed my bus. I'm gonna have to walk up the hill again.
You are
must
a
walk.
powerless man.
Get an Uber, Siri.
Past 10. No, I don't want to
Uber
get
it
an
up.
Uber.
Get an Uber Black or Uber like.
Yeah, you can test out the "Hey Uber, get me home."
I don't
Hey,
want
Uber.
to.
So any
If you're paying for
perils?
half, I would.
Wait, what's that sentence?
let me start again. Is there any way you can compare these two movies besides what we talked about? That the first one is more about showing the dehumanizing part of being a hitman, which I think this movie is the opposite. When you're taking a hitman and you try to humanize him and put human element
look at
into
you,
them,
Tim.
I think it's a very different aspect of this kind of crime and murder. Is there anything else you could draw a parallel from these two movies?
One has wide shots. The other one was very close up.
Really? What? The In Bruges is closer?
Yeah, they usually do the over the shoulder looking, like
And a lot of
medium
like
shots.
what was a wide angle over the shoulder stuff, wasn't it? Oh, there was a lot of like zoom, like
Yeah, there's lots of
bokeh.
zoom. Like you could tell, right? You could tell it was more zoomy than it was than the Irishmen, which had no Irish people in it. Where were the Irish
That's true.
accents?
There was no
Where
Irish
were
accent.
the Irish accents?
Oh, these are the third generation, fourth generation Irish.
42 euros.
They know Italian.
If you want Irish accents, you should watch Gangs of New York.
I heard that's good.
Martin Scorsese movie, and it's about again crime, but it's about the olden crimes, the olden days of New York when it
The
was
land of the free.
New Amsterdam, probably. I don't know. Just you get to
Daniel
see where it all
Day-Lewis.
comes from. Yeah, exactly.
Oh. The parallels I could probably draw are that the Brendan Gleeson, is that his name, Phil?
Yes.
Character is similar
Father
in
of-
some senses.
Father of
Jackie Gleason.
Ooh. I'm
what's his
trying
name?
to remember before Tim does.
Well, I
Brendan
just know he
Gleeson and-
plays in Harry Potter. He plays Bill. No,
Bill and Ted.
What are you
Excellent.
talking
He
about?
marries.
Okay,
He marries
Dom
Fleur
Hall
Delacour.
Gleason. Dom Hall Gleason.
Yes.
Oh,
he,
Dom Hall
he
Gleason.
marries Fleur Delacour,
Oh,
which is the
yeah.
actress.
Well, that's
Wait.
strange. Yeah, you're
No,
right.
who does he play? He's not. He played Billy, right? The dragon.
He plays
guy.
the oldest Weasley. Yeah.
Yes. He's got scar on his
Okay.
face because of
Anyway.
the Hungarian horn.
Wait, wasn't it a werewolf?
Oh yes, no werewolf screws up. But I think he was
Ah.
working.
We're
about
just
Harry
talking.
Potter?
We're talking Harry Potter lore,
Dude, in
right
the
now.
book, when he's described, it's so funny because it's so 90s. Like Harry Potter's looking at him, and he's like, "Oh, the oldest Weasley. He's got long hair and a ponytail and an earring in his ear. He's so
Oh,
badass."
yeah.
And you're like, "What is that?" Like, I would imagine he's covered in tattoos, and he's got like tattoos in his eyeballs, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, he's got a
He's got a
earrings.
Nirvana T-shirt.
exactly. That's hilarious.
Anyway,
What were we talking
layer,
about? Oh,
nothing
yeah,
really
the
to add. I just
parallels.
wanted to say that the parallels, the closest I could draw, in my book report, is
In my
that,
book report, I got the best book report.
Brendan Gleeson's character is similar to our character Frank in that he's sort of just in this kind of field of expertise, and he's sort of just,
Mm-hmm.
he has his own thing, and he's just sort of doing this. And for some reason, he also kind of just like that's the thing that I wanted to ask you guys.
How can a man fall from such a distance and not explode?
That's maybe
And still talk.
That's a valid question, but another
did they
question
explode?
is,
I don't know.
I don't
his
know,
arm,
like,
was broken. I think
From
totally.
what I can gather, just knowing, just hearing about people falling off of high buildings,
Yeah.
you kind of do like really get messed up. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, you do kind of explode if you go for like a 40 floor, but
So he was about to shoot our friend Harry in the movie.
That
He
was my
was.
favorite.
That was something that I wanted to see what you guys thought about that, because that
was a
was
great
for
scene.
me surprising, because I didn't understand quite what was happening there, because Harry was going to shoot himself, obviously. The Brendan Gleeson character he was going to shoot him. So I guess safe to assume that he was just going to go through with this.
I guess so.
But then he totally changes.
Well,
his
that's
mind.
because I think him and us, we were both surprised by the fact that he just takes the gun into his head and it's like,
that's
what
true. That
is
was
going
the
on?
shocker.
The
And it's like,
humanity
and
kind
I
of
don't-
like kicks
yeah,
in, you know?
I don't think you would be able to like. It'd be weird.
Aha, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So you're saying in the moment he
Yeah.
realized that it was more worth, regardless of what his choices up to this point were.
Yeah.
He realized that this guy needs help.
Oh no! I didn't think
Oh.
that. To me, it just like instinctually, it's like this isn't how it's supposed to work.
Uh huh.
Oh,
You
you
know, he
mean like
would look-
as far as I see.
Yeah, he would be looking back, and I would have the gun. Okay, that's something that you're prepared for, but you're not prepared for him putting a
Yes.
gun into his own temple
Right.
at the
I
same
see.
time, and that's
And then the shock kind of
pomp and
gets him in the
circumstance.
conversation and
Yes.
that changes his
Yeah,
mind,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Like it was just how it started. Okay.
Okay, that's all I was wondering about.
But then of course
But again,
you have those
yeah.
feelings coming in.
Cool. So
Okay.
recommended movie?
Yeah,
Yeah. I'd say
Recommend both, right?
recommended.
there's a
Both.
lot of swear words.
There's a lot of swear
A lot of-
words.
That's true. A lot of derogatory terms.
Derogatory.
Yes.
Drugatory.
Derogatory. A lot of drugs too. A very quotable movie. I've seen a lot of quotes.
Yeah? Interesting.
Like on memes and stuff like that and gifs. Like the one when he's like, "You got cocaine? I got 4 grams in the bag and 1 in me." Yeah. I am terrible at delivering these lines, and I shall not do that ever again.
Oh, come on. We got to do that. Everybody write down on the survey if there's
suck.
anything else you want to hear. You could hear Tim delivering more
Is that one of the
lines.
questions?
No, I mean, like, is there like a... I was wondering if there was like a box where you could just add an extra bunch of...
Well,
like,
you were here
recommendations,
when we were making the
and one of
survey,
them-
so you should know.
Phil, you were at the meeting.
He was at the meeting, but
So-
in
Shut
spirit.
up.
Maybe-
Shut up. We don't
maybe
talk
not
about
mentally.
this. Quiet.
Yes.
So anyway, the survey unfortunately won't have Phil's box. We
good
could have
thing-
added it while we had the meeting.
That's true. That's
Anyway,
true.
okay,
but good. Thank you for reminding me about the survey.
I
So
wanted
people,
to also remind everyone.
the survey. Please do it. Please. I mean,
So
I don't
we're-
want to beg,
Paul
but
listening, watching Space Odyssey?
I think she's watching a play, opera.
Oh, okay.
So yes,
or
to
is
close
that
us
the
out,
ending song? I don't know. What
The
is it?
ending
Is it
song
the
is coming
opera
in,
or-
but please, everyone, I would encourage you. I would just encourage you to just take this time to reflect and open the survey.
Open your heart to the survey.
To
Open
the
your heart to
survey. and just check it out on your phone and your laptop. Just check it
dying,
out, guys. Check out the survey. You might win a prize.
Prize. It's for real. It's for real.
We're not joking.
It
about
is real. It's no,
Seriously,
there's
a
no
prize.
joke.
In December, right?
We've done this
somewhere there.
before.
January,
the prize
yes.
was given. There
Yes, we did that
witnesses.
before in our old
So our
podcast.
track record is clean.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
We've fulfilled our promises, but we need you to participate in order for us to fulfill our end of the
Fulfill,
bargain,
fulfill,
which is a
falafel.
custom prize for you, for real.
For real.
And it's not a falafel. It's not
No,
a
it's not.
falafel.
It's
We
not.
can't
It's something cooler.
importing.
All right,
foods.
okay. We begged enough. So people, next week it's Jake's episode. I mean, then 2 weeks Jake's episode. You have a lovely 2 weeks. Get ready for
Amen.
Christmas.
All
Bye.
right.
Don't go to malls.
Enjoy
They suck.
Christmas.
Don't listen. Don't eat too much sugar. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. What did you say?